Hello, and welcome to the Permission to Breathe podcast, a transformative space dedicated to providing a sanctuary where you can inhale deeply and exhale freely, embracing your grief journey unapologetically. I am your host, Dr. Tammy Isaac, here with you every Monday to offer comfort, guidance, and hope. Together we'll navigate this path, finding moments to pause, reflect, and breathe. Let's begin this journey side by side. Are you grieving and feel like you're struggling alone? You don't have to walk this path by yourself. Book a virtual session with Dr. Tammy Isaac at Breathe Grief Counseling Center. Visit us online at www.breathegriefcounselingcenter.com. Dr. Isaac will help you put your emotions into words. She'll help you reduce the feeling of isolation. She'll help you understand that everyone grieves differently, and also help you prevent unhealthy coping mechanisms. Take control of your life with world-class counseling sessions today with Dr. Tammy Isaac. Welcome back to A Seat at the Table, Stories of Mother Grief, a special Mother's Day mini-series from the Permission to Breathe podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Tammy Isaac, and today's episode is for the adult daughters who are still trying to navigate the world without their mother. When we're young, we think we have time. We imagine our mothers as constants, the voice on the other end of the phone, the person who remembers every detail, the one who calls you baby, no matter how grown you are. But what happens when she's no longer there to call? What happens when you lose your mother, not as a child, but as a woman already rooted in your own life, now suddenly unanchored? Today, my guest, LaShanna More, joins us to share the story of her mother's passing, a story of love, loss, and the lingering ache that comes when the person who shaped you is no longer just a call away. This episode honors the grief that comes later in life and how, even as adults, we still long for the comfort, grounding, and wisdom of our mothers. So let's take a deep breath. And let's listen now as LaShanna opens her heart and shares her journey.
I am proud to share about my mother. My mother was Dorothy Ellis Leonard. She was the epitome of grace, style. Mom was all things etiquette, social graces. She was a woman of faith. She loved being a wife. She adored being a mother. She took joy in being a sister and a friend and a woman of service. That's who she was as a person. What she meant to me was everything. My mom was my formal introduction into the world as a girl, learning how to communicate, helping me with cognitive skills and development, helping me build my intellectualism, encouraging me, inspiring me, and really just fostering my overall growth, sheltering me as I grew from being a shy kid to an adult woman who spoke freely and assertively. What I miss most about her is simply her presence. I miss her involvement in my life. I miss her over-involvement in my life. I miss her wisdom. I miss her prayers. I miss her advocacy for me. And I miss the love that only a caring mother gives. I am surrounded by love now, but even in that, I will never have the kind of love that my mother gave me. And I miss that most about her. My grief journey has been very interesting. I don't have anything to compare it to. My mother was my first ultra significant loss, primary relationship. I have lost grandparents and they were close to me and I miss them till this day. But my fundamental primary relationship, a parent, this has been different. I have not found language yet to truly describe the vastness of this experience. I use common words like heavy, burdensome, not linear, dark, painful, surreal. But even within that context, I don't think that I have found words to adequately define and describe. And that's crazy for me because I'm a wordologist. I love words. I love lexicon. I love the gift and the art of expression. But grief has robbed me of the space to figure out how to put it in words, how to color it, how to outline it, how to define it, how to express it, how to share it with others. I usually am able to share it in segmented conversation. And maybe that is a reflection of the layer of grief, the complexity of grief, even the abstract nature of grief. I have gone through a wheelhouse of emotions that I didn't think I possessed. I think that my nervous system and my brain have protected me in this space, which has given me a very random, spontaneous experience of grief. I do see how my grief journey has grown from the initial tragedy, in that I have been able to find breathing patterns. I have been able to find breath. I still am in disbelief. My experience with losing my mother was sudden loss. I think sudden loss does play a psychological game with you mentally. My nervous system also took a hit, and it took some time, at least 2 years, for my nervous system to be regulated. And even now, I am working on settling into peace and rest without awaiting what could be next, what could be possible. Grief opens up your mind and your world to the reality that there could be more to come, to be continued. And so the fight is to resist that and try to live in the moment and try to live in the day, this day, my daily bread. But I am finding rhythm. I am able to have some joy and some laughter. This is big. I'm able to have some laughter and joy without guilt. Grief used to rob me of moments of laughter, as if I were not taking the time to honor my mom. The best way for me to stay connected to my mother is to implement the things that she taught me. I mentioned in the introduction of her that she was a woman of etiquette, social graces, love, prayer, and faith. And she was a big teacher. My mom also was a big liver of life. So she had experience in so many different areas. And I don't think, as a very grown adult now, I don't think that there is an area of life that she didn't touch for me. I'm talking about everything from construction to driving down the street to setting the table to communication to discernment, prayer, dream interpretation. She was a holistic mom. She was a woman of totality. So the best way for me to honor her is in two ways: to implement the things that she taught, exercise that wisdom, live according to that wisdom. And then secondly, to live out areas that she was on a journey of healing from. We can be gifted to operate in a specific space while at the same time having our own challenges within those spaces. And my mother being a leader, a mentor, a counselor, a pastor's wife, I watched both of those dynamics, strength and challenge. And my goal for myself is to make sure that I am pursuing healing in the areas that I am challenged in, which will bring honor to her life, because she stayed while she was championing for others. She continued her own journey of healing. So I have to honor her in that way as well, making sure that I champion my healing, that I prioritize it, and not find myself stuck in areas and spaces and corners of life that I feel are impossible for me to break free from. How do I approach Mother's Day now? Let me tell y'all something. I still approach Mother's Day with a side eye. I still absolutely roll my eyes. One of the traditions that I keep in my life is a regular trip to Bath and Body Works, because that was my mom's store. I go religiously, which means, yes, I am a member. I take advantage of all of the sales. I get the emails. I pay attention to them. I utilize my points. I get my free gifts. I get my birthday gift. Y'all, I do all the things BBW related. But I roll my eyes when they send the Mother's Day gift emails, and anybody else. I have an attitude when it comes to Mother's Day. My mother-in-law also has since passed, and it is just a very interesting space to live in. I honor mothers. I honor my sisters who still have their mothers. I'm not bitter in a way that I do not honor and celebrate others' mothers, because I recognize the frailty of life. But yeah, I still do not particularly care for the holiday, and I let it be that. If I don't feel like going to church because church may be a landmine for me or a triggering space, I have given myself freedom and grace to not go, and I've removed myself from the religiosity that I have to be there. I honor my mother by being a woman of prayer, a woman of faith on Mother's Day. So I am staying connected. I am still thinking about traditions because every year is different. I don't think I have a set tradition yet. However, I am thinking about, in the year to come, traveling on these special days. I can't say that's honoring my mom, because my mom traveled, but she wasn't big on traveling. She just did it because that was she and my dad's lifestyle. So I can't say, oh, I'm honoring her by seeing the world that she wanted to see. She didn't care about that. And she went to all kind of places. But I am going to extend her legacy by doing more of what she did and just adding that joy factor to it, because I absolutely love travel. What I would offer other ladies who are grieving and dealing with loss during Mother's Day is my love and my support. The first thing that I'm going to offer you is sorrow. My sorrow that you have lost such a fundamental companion and voice and presence in your life. I would encourage you to take your time in this journey and to be completely open to how this journey unfolds for you. I would encourage you to be a student of your emotions and your feelings, meaning that you don't have to know how to navigate this experience, this new life of yours. I would encourage you to be honest with God about how you feel. He has the capacity for it all. I would encourage you to be in spaces that you feel are healthy and wholesome and inviting for you, mind, body, soul, and spirit. And I would encourage you to feel your way through Mother's Day. You don't know how you're going to respond to this holiday. You're going to feel a certain way leading up to it. You're going to feel a certain way the day of. You're going to feel a certain way the day after. So just be a student of this time in your life, meaning that you're going to allow yourself the simplicity of life. You're going to allow yourself this childish nature to feel, experiment, ask questions, adventure through it, explore through it, and surround yourself with people who will just be present. They don't have to be fixers. They should not be fixers. And you may have to remind them that you don't need a fixer. But the presence of people who matter the most to you is important. I'll leave you with this, Philippians 4:7. The peace of God, which transcends understanding, will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus, the Prince. He is the Prince of Peace. So I would make that a requirement for my surroundings, for those who surround me. You have to foster and support my peace and trust that Christ will guard your heart and your mind. So you don't have to uphold a formality, a tradition. You don't have to uphold an honor in your mother's honor because someone else says that it is the honorable thing to do. Rest in the peace of Christ and let the day be the day.
Today's episode is sponsored by Let the Church Grieve by Dr. Tammy Isaac, a compelling book that explores the often overlooked subject of grief within spiritual communities. Dr. Isaac combines personal antidotes with theological insights, providing a compassionate framework for understanding and addressing grief collectively. This book emphasizes the need for spiritual leaders to create safe spaces for mourning and guides congregations through the grieving process with faith and empathy. It's a must-read for anyone looking to support those experiencing grief within their spiritual communities. Grab your copy of Let the Church Grieve at www.drtammyisaac.com today and begin the journey towards healing and growth. Now back to our show. LaShanna, thank you so much for sharing your mother with us today. And thank you for speaking what so many feel but really struggle to say out loud. Your vulnerability is a gift, and your story reminds us that grief doesn't follow a timeline and love doesn't end with death. To every woman listening who has lost her mother as an adult, I want you to know you're not alone. This kind of grief is tender, but also complicated. You've spent your life learning from her, being shaped by her. Maybe you even became a mother yourself while she was still here, leaning on her wisdom, calling her for when the baby had a fever or something, or, laughing over stories during the holidays. And then suddenly, she's gone. But you're still an adult. You're still managing work, family, and responsibilities, but now you're also managing loss. And the world might expect you to hold it together, to go back to work, to plan the service, and to be strong for everyone else. But behind the strength is still only a child who still wants to be held by their mother. You may be fully grown, but that doesn't mean you stop needing your mother. Doesn't mean the grief hits any softer. In fact, in some ways, it kind of hits it a little bit deeper because you're grieving not just who she was, but who you were with her. LaShanna's story is one so many of us carry. You may be successful, grounded, accomplished, but when your mother dies, you feel small again. There's a kind of grief that shakes you at your core because it's not just the person you lost, it's the history, the shared language, the knowing glances, the spiritual thread between mother and daughter. And the world doesn't always pause when adults grieve. People assume you're strong, you're capable, you're resilient, but what they don't see is how the absence ripples through everything: holidays, recipes, phone calls, even how you mother your own children, right? There's a verse I always return to in seasons like this. John 14:18 says, I will not leave you comfortless. I will come to you. When your mother is gone, it can feel like the world loses its warmth, but God reminds us that even when the arms that once held us are no longer here, we're not abandoned, that He won't leave us comfortless, but that He will come to us. God becomes the steady presence in the quiet. He shows up in dreams and memories, in the way your own voice starts to sound like hers when you speak, in the way you laugh like her, or mother like her, or pray like her. That's legacy, and that's comfort. You can be a grown woman and still cry for your mom. You can be a spiritual leader and still miss being someone's daughter. God holds all of that for us. And let me say this plainly, you're still her daughter. Grief doesn't erase that. Time doesn't rewrite it. You carry her in your memory, your bones, your ritual, in the way you show up for others, in the softness you offer your own children, in the strength you didn't even realize she passed on to you. And yes, there will be moments where the missing feels too loud, but you are allowed to sit in that silence. You are allowed to long for her voice, her arms, her wisdom. That longing is proof of a love that still lives on. Thank you so much for joining me today for this conversation with LaShanna More. And I thank you, LaShanna, for your courage, your voice, and your love. If you've lost your mother as an adult, this episode is your reminder that your grief is not too late, not too dramatic, it's not too much. Thank you so much for joining me today on the Permission to Breathe podcast. I hope today created space for you to breathe and find peace on your journey. I invite you to join me again next Monday for another episode as we continue to navigate this path together. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share the podcast. Until next time, take care and keep breathing unapologetically.